Hello everybody, it is I, Cool, back again, and today I'm going to be reviewing Komodo, the 2025 release. This is not a new Thailand variant. He was previously released last year in 2024, alongside Yakoza and Manji, but unfortunately those two didn't really hit the US, so yeah. But Komodo's back. He's been in a couple of cases. It's very interesting whenever a Tokyo Mater car comes back to a case. Usually they're one and done type deals. So over here we got the artwork as seen in Tokyo Mater. Over here on the back it is just Komodo. Of course, I previously reviewed Cho. There was also Kyandi. And while there were plans to re-release her, Bye Bye Car was canceled, unfortunately. So just one more Tokyo Mater car to go. Enough dilly-dallying. Time to open this guy. All right, here he is, out of the box. Now, you probably noticed that this guy kind of looks like some sort of reptilian. And that's kind of the point. See, Komodo is named after the Komodo dragons, pretty common lizards in Asia, I believe. I don't know if Japan is one of those countries. I feel like I associate Komodo more with, like, China, like the dragons. But, yeah, that's what he's based around. His expression here. You might have also noticed that he looks similar to some cars like Wingo and the Kabuto Ninja. I believe they are all, just retoolings of one another. Komodo much more closely resembles Wingo than the Kabuto Ninja does. The Kabuto Ninja is a bit more subtle. Weird thing about him is that his mustache isn't painted in. I don't know if that's just mine or if that's how it usually goes. I would assume it's just mine, but he does have a mouth plate, so maybe it is, because they don't really like painting the plastic bits. He has his headlights there, which look like scales. He has his carbon fiber, which looks like scales. And he has scales, which look like scales. Another infamous thing about this diecast is the color. He appears to be a very metallic green color, and there's been hot debate whether or not this is a more updated, accurate version to the original Komodo, or if the original was better. Honestly, in person, it looks pretty accurate to the shore. It's a very bright green. On camera, it's a much darker green. So, there's that. He has metallic green rims. This would be one of those cars that would just feel really terrible to drive if this was a real car, because, like, look at how much window space you have and how much, like, this feels like it wouldn't be street legal, which, well, it's a street racer, so it probably isn't legal anyway, so. Here's the back here. I think this is where the license plate would go if he had one. Kind of wish he had a license plate. You could have put something really funny there, like Scalar or something. Interesting thing is he actually has molded in windows compared to Wingo, who is just a solid metal casting. Backlights seem to be off. They're just black. Literally blacked out. Over here's the other side, pretty much identical. This part is plastic, but the rest of these scales are actually metal, which is really impressive. Over here is the bottom, U12A. Where's the item code? Made in Thailand. There we go, there's the item code, HVB02. Here he is next to Kabuto Ninja for comparison. I also wanted to compare him to some other cars that I have that have a bit of a metallic green. Here's Swift Alternator. Or Swift Alternator. I don't know what the consensus on this guy's name is. But, yeah. Much more vibrant green. A little closer to Kaorisu, I think? Like, if they made a Thailand Kaorisu, I could see him using this color instead of the more brownish color. It really makes Kaorisu look like more of a brown. I always saw him as, like, green, but no, this is, like, sort of goldish color, actually, looking back on it. Just look more green on its own. And then here he is next to Suki. I believe he and Suki were seen together in the short, so this is accurate. He shows up before Mater gets modified, but I think he still shows up at the end to, be in the dance party sequence. Drift party, even. So, that's all I have to say about Komodo. And here I'll call him Kabuto for a second. They're very similar names. Very solid diecast. I'm really glad Mattel brought this one back and did something a bit different with him. You know, like I feel like a lot of the time Thailand variants aren't really that exciting. It's just what a car would look like, but with some of the Thailand amenities, like, you know, sometimes I get eye plates, sometimes I get eye shadowing. You know, like very rarely is there anything to talk about with Thailand variants, but this guy's one of them. One of the few times where the Thailand variant's actually like interesting, and I'm really happy about that. I also just really like the fact that he looks like a reptilian. I think it's really cool. Oh, did you guys know this guy was in a video game once? Yeah, in a defunct mobile game, Cars Fast as Lightning, this guy was one of the playable characters alongside Yakuza. He even had a neon skin variant. Some other people might recognize him from my friend's High's channel, but this guy was not used as Komodo. He was used as Dragon, Komodo's old friend, who began to work with a certain group of cars that were doing some shady business. But overall, yeah, that's all I have to say about Komodo. Just a really nice diecast. I'm really happy to have him. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I shall see you all around. Bye-bye!